Agriculture semana babo maye na mutie ya mutie so efutu semana agriculture mutie ya mutie so ya diabo agriculture semana ya diabo AKUAFO semana ya diabo AKUAFO TV agricultural channel.
My name is Jocelyn Brown Hall. I'm the Deputy Regional Representative for FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations Bureau in Africa, and I'm also the officer in charge for the Ghana Country Office here in Accra, Ghana. Well, this is a very exciting program that combines addressing 4 specific issues. One issue is around climate change. Another issue is around innovation and processing of food, especially for the third issue of women who are deeply involved in agriculture, and women, the fourth issue, who live in the rural areas. Absolutely. Women are the underpinning, the force behind agriculture, both productivity and processing here in Ghana. As we know, over 60%, even 70% of women in Ghana do the agricultural work. And we want to make sure that when they do the work, they get fair pay for what they're doing and that they can see value from what they're doing. So we want to create processing and packaging opportunities for them to help them gain more value out of the agricultural productivity, but we also want to make sure that the processing and the packaging technologies do not hurt the climate, because as we all know, climate change is here, weather conditions are changing, and that's changing how we do agriculture and how we make agriculture productivity sustainable for future generations. We have presenters and innovators here from all parts of not only Ghana and not only the research community, but actual entrepreneurs and throughout sub-Saharan Africa. We just heard a female entrepreneur who's working in the rural areas on turning coconut husks into soils that are just as productive as regular soil. And we'll hear from other women entrepreneurs about processing of cassava, about processing of cocoa pods, and other fruits and vegetables so that they can gain value from what they're doing in agriculture and also preserve the environment and bring economic development to rural communities. Well, I'm just excited to be here, and I'm excited that the government of Ghana has taken this incredibly forward-looking idea. I'm proud to be part of it with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. I give great credit to the Council on Scientific and Industrial Research Centers, and also to all the entrepreneurs and researchers here who are working together to support women entrepreneurs and food processing and packaging to reduce food loss and waste, and to stem climate change. So it's an exciting event. Thank you.
Listen to the presenters. Without much ado, I'll welcome the chair for this section, in the person of Prof. Abraham Annan for Noguchi Memorial Institute.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to chair this session and acknowledge the organizers and the director of the CSR Food Research Institute for the opportunity. This is, kindly let's look at page 5, page V, okay, of our abstract book. You see section 4, that is where we are. We have 4 presentations in this session. And the second presentation, which reads Nutrition and Anti-Nutrient Factors that one is being replaced with a presentation that comes from the previous session, the last one, from 12:20 to 12:40. That presentation on cassava processing in La Côte d'Ivoire will be the second presentation, okay? And so 4 presentations, and then I'm informed that in view of the time constraints, each presentation will take 15 minutes, not 20 minutes. So let's take note. The presenters will be reminded if they are going off the timing. And we'll try to keep to the time. Okay. So on this note, it is my pleasure to call the first presenter who is going to give a presentation on adoption of climate-smart technologies, a case of indigenous leafy vegetables and tuber crops as tools to combat malnutrition and food insecurity. This is Dr. Samina Mugehi, and she's coming from South Africa. Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, colleagues. It is such a privilege to be here and share part of our research activities with you today. We are truly humbled for the opportunity to be part of on indigenous leafy vegetables, or what other people refer to as African leafy vegetables and tuber crops. I'd like to use this as a way of trying to fight malnutrition and food insecurity in our country. Just a brief background of who we are as the ARC, or Agricultural Research Council. We are a research institute and we conduct research with partners. Partners who are interested to partner with us today, we are here and you are welcome to collaborate with us. So we conduct research with partners and we have different initiatives that assist in developing human capital. That is through training of postgraduate students and so forth. We also foster innovation and we support research in agriculture. We have various goals that assist us in reaching our goals as the organization, and one of them is that we generate knowledge and technologies that are able to enhance efficient. A lot of our kids go to school hungry and it's not easy for them to concentrate. So, in closing, I would like to say thank you so much for the CSIR, Ghana, and FAO for the invite and allowing us to share our heart with you guys today. Thank you so much.
Surely we have to acknowledge Samina for meeting the time, to accept the time. Thank you very much. Another round of applause. So we shall call on the second speaker, who is going to talk to us about cassava processing in La Côte d'Ivoire. And this is Nina Kwame, belonging to a private, I think small, medium enterprise. So you are welcome. Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Bonjour à tous. Good afternoon. Je suis Nina Kwame. My name is Nina Kwame, productrice, transformatrice, and I'm a producer and processor. Membre du réseau national de la Côte d'Ivoire. And I'm also a member of the National Network of Agriculture. Okay. D'accord. Bon, je vais vous présenter le processus de la transformation du manioc en Côte d'Ivoire.
I'll present to you the cassava processing in La Côte d'Ivoire.
Tout d'abord, je m'excuse parce que j'ai égaré mes affaires.
First of all, I want to apologize because I lost all my luggages.
Donc, je ne pourrais pas vous présenter les images, mais je pense que vous allez me soutenir pour qu'on puisse...
I won't be able to present all the images the way I wanted it, but I want you to support me, please.
Merci. Thank you. Bon, pour avoir le produit fini, for us to get the finished product, on commence d'abord à traiter le sol. We start by preparing the soil. Nous traitons le sol avec des produits naturels, with natural products, qu'on fait à base de plantes, that is from other plants. Nous prenons pour travailler la terre pour tuer les insectes, to kill the insects in the ground. Avant de planter, before we can plant the cassava. Et après, nous avons de l'engrais bio qu'on appelle compost. We use some what we call compost. We call fertilizers. When the herb is well treated, vous avez une bonne rentabilité. You can have a better production. Nous faisons ça pour avant, quand on ne connaissait pas ce process-là, on perdait. At the beginning, when we didn't know about that, we were losing a lot of our harvest. Et depuis qu'on a découvert cela, and since we have discovered it, avec un hectare, with an acre, on peut obtenir 25 à 30 tonnes de tubercules. We can have between 25 to 30 tons of cassava. Voilà, nous allons partir. We can move forward. Après le traitement du sol, after soil treatment, nous avons la récolte. We have the harvest. On a déjà planté la récolte. Après la récolte, after the harvest, il faut conserver les produits dans un endroit sec. We need to keep the product in the dry and ventilated area. Après cela, after that, nous passons maintenant à la transformation. We continue now to transform the processing. We start the processing. Nous avons de grands récipients. We have big bowls we use. Quand on finit l'épluchage, when we start, we end removing the skin of the cassava. On les lave dans les récipients. We wash them in those bowls. Ensuite, on passe au broyage. And later, we start grounding them. Avant, on avait du matériel manuel qu'on broyait, ça fatiguait. At the beginning, we were doing it by hand, with hands. Ça blesse. Sometimes it will wound you. Et au fur et à mesure, and as time goes, nous avons obtenu des broyeuses. We got some machines, en inox, stainless machines, avec lesquelles nous broyons le manioc. With what we grind them. Ensuite, nous rajoutons du manioc fermenté. And later on, we put some fermented cassava. Nous passons à l'insourage, and we will press it together for all the water to come out. Ensuite, nous faisons les semoules, and we mix them in like porridges. Nous avons un endroit, we have a place, bien aéré, bien fermé, a closed place, very well ventilated, pour sécher, to dry it. Ensuite, nous passons à la cuisson. And later on, we start boiling the cassava. Après la cuisson, nous obtenons cela. After boiling it, we got this acheke. On appelle ça acheke. We call it acheke. 90% de la population consomme l'acheke. More than 90% of the population consume acheke. C'est notre nourriture de base à Abidjan. This Côte Ivoire Coast is our main food. Ce produit-là, this product, ça durait d'une semaine. It can last only for 1 week. Nous avons travaillé, and we have been able to work through. Ensuite, nous avons trouvé la solution, and we found a solution. Celle de déshydrater. We will just dry it again. Et celui-là, and this new product, il peut durer 1 an. It can last for 1 year. Quand vous le prenez, il suffit de le faire revenir. On appelle ça le couscous de manioc. We call it cassava couscous. Vous le faites revenir tout simplement, vous réchauffez. When you just boil it under vapor. En moins de 2 minutes, la teke est prête. In lesser than 2 minutes, la teke will be back ready. option. We also have this option. Cette farine is flour. On peut la rendre en granulé. We can. Pour faire la teke. We can make it back in this form to get a teke. Voilà. Voilà. Ensuite, then, nous voyons les marchés. We look at the marketplaces. Pour les commercialiser. So that we can sell them. On a aussi des supermarchés. We have supermarkets. Qui prennent. Which are very interested on our product. Nous organisons aussi des expositions ventes. We organize exhibitions. Où nous présentons les produits, les dérivés du manioc. Where we present the product and all the components we can get from it. En Côte d'Ivoire, nous avons plusieurs dérivés. In Ivory Coast, from the same cassava, we can get many different products. De manioc. From cassava. Maintenant, nous pensons à internationaliser cela. Now we are thinking of a way to send the product internationally. Et ce qui nous bloque en ce moment, and the challenge we are having now, c'est le problème de l'emballage. Is the packaging. On a un grand souci en Côte d'Ivoire d'emballage. In Ivory Coast, we have a big challenge about packaging. Et sur ce, nous travaillons encore pour voir comment est-ce que we are still working on to see how nous pourrons faire cela pour we can solve the problem. Commercialiser internationalement. We can be able to sell it overseas. Voilà, c'est un peu le process de production chez nous en Côte d'Ivoire. In a few minutes, the process of production of cassava and attiéké. Nous sommes plus pratiques sur le terrain. We are more in the ground, on the field. Gros papier là, on n'est pas dedans. C'est la pratique. We don't do a lot of academics inside. Donc je vous invite en Côte d'Ivoire. So I'm inviting you in Ivory Coast. Vous viendrez pour voir le travail qu'on fait. The job we are doing on the ground. Actuellement, je suis en train d'expérimenter 4. Actually, I'm experiencing 4 espèces de manioc ghanéennes. 4 types of cassava, Ghanaian cassava. Voilà. Donc, vous dites que nous sommes ensemble. We are together. Je vous invite en Côte d'Ivoire. Venez voir le travail que nous faisons. Come and see the job we are doing there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nina Kwame. And she has also met the time beautifully. We are doing very well. So we'll move on to the third presentation. And the third presentation is the potential of insect meal in improving food security in Malawi. An alternative of soya bean and the fish meal in livestock feed. And this will be presented by Mr. Rexford Mulumpa. I hope I got it right. Mulumpa. And he is coming from the Department of Fisheries, Monkey Bay, Malawi. Let's welcome with a round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as rightly put, I'll be presenting on the topic shown there, and I'm next for the Mulumpa. I will try to be quick because I was saying more than 20 minutes to present this, so I'll try to fix it within 15 minutes. This is the presentation outline that I will take you through. Malawi has 20% of its land surface as water, and by just looking at that, you would expect that people should be enjoying fish like nobody's business. But at the moment, the fish consumption of the country is going down. We are at 5.3% per year per vessel. And looking at that, the government is trying to come up with ways of supplementing the
fish catchers from the world by introducing different initiatives in as far as the fish farming is concerned. The most notable one is the presidential initiative on aquaculture, which is aimed at supplementing the capture and fisheries mandates. However, this initiative has met several challenges. One of them being the issue of climate change. We used to divert rivers into different ponds to raise fish, and these rivers now are becoming annual, leading to drying up of so many ponds. The other challenge is the one that I will try to talk about here, because whatever I present here is trying to deal with that particular challenge, which is the issue of high cost of feed of fish, of course, of also other livestock feed in the country. Now, to deal with this challenge, there are several initiatives that are being made, more especially to deal with the real root of that problem, which is the high cost of protein source ingredients. The energy source ingredients, their costs in Malawi are not as much as that cost of the energy protein source ingredients. So we're going to come up with a way of reducing the cost by replacing the high cost ingredients with some ingredients that can deal with that can produce the same results but with minimal cost to the farmers. And it is with this challenge that several studies have outlined that insects can be used to replace fish meal, which currently in Malawi are importing, and of course the soybean meal, which currently is also which currently livestock is in competition with humans, because humans are also using the same soybean as food. I don't know if this is the case in your country, but in our country there is what we call soya pieces. It is made in a way that it mimics meat. So it is one of the popular relish for pap, we call it sima. So because of that, there is that competition between humans and livestock in as far as soybean and of course fish meal is concerned. Now the challenge is to come up with livestock feed which is cheaper without compromising its nutritive quality, and of course that will reduce stress of fish farmers abandoning fish farming due to lack of profitability. The challenge is coming in because, like I said, issue of climate change, one, issue of high cost of feed. Most of the fish farmers are not realizing enough profits to continue with fish farming. As a result, we have a number of fish farmers that are abandoning fish farming because they are not finding it profitable. So whatever we are trying to do is to make sure that we make them to have a good margin that they can appreciate and continue with fish farming. And one of the ways of dealing with that is the proposal that is of using insects to replace the soybean meal and of course the fish meal in livestock feed. In Malawi, insects are already in the diet of many. I myself like eating insects. I don't know if that is the case in Ghana, but there are some insects that we like to eat. For example, we have some people that like eating grasshoppers. I myself like eating winged termites. We call them ngumbi in our local language. You should try them when you're in Malawi, they're nice. So because in most of the countries, these insects are already in the diet, it is assumed that acceptability of the products, other livestock products that are coming from animals that are being fed on insect-based diets would not be a challenge as is the case in other countries. This map shows exactly where, in which country, in which districts, what particular insect is used as feed, as the food in that particular district. These are crickets that we found the smokies, dug them out, and they were ready to be used for relish for that particular household that day. In the Sadic region, there is only one company that produces insects on commercial scale for livestock feed, and that is in South Africa. But however, there is another project that was funded by NEPA in 2017 to also produce the services. In this case, mealworms for feed for livestock in Malawi, Zimbabwe, and South Africa again. AKUAFO Philippines, which was previously called Animal Feed Resource Information System, has provided some in-depth guidelines on how we can produce insects for livestock feed. So the materials are already there. What is the main example of adopting and start implementing the guidelines? This is the objective that I tried to mention in fact in the introduction. And the methodology was that we looked at the regional view and by looking at farmers and the current effort to resolve these challenges, the challenges of feed prices, and the information gained was used to outline roadmap for solving livestock feed challenges at household level. Now, where do we have insects being used as livestock feed? There are several papers that you can find that are already introducing insects as feed for livestock. One of them is reports that based on the nutritive value of insect meal, it is an excellent and an important substitute for poultry diets, replacing wide range of foodstuffs. There is also another paper that put Henetia meal as a valuable component of layers under Stella and that is in 2040 also concluded that black soldier meal can substitute fish meal up to an extent of 50% in feeds. These are some of the figurative figures for portraying the use of insects in as far as the feed is concerned. We have some chicks there being fed to black soldier flour, and in figure 6, this is now the crushed or milled insects ready for inclusion in the livestock feed. This is Dr. Emma, who is a graduate of insect breeding training program at Makerere University, and she is implementing whatever she learned in her own backyard by feeding her own livestock. There was also another study that was done, and it was observed that housefly maggots can be used to replace fish meal diets in African catfish, and the results were generally positive from 25% to 30% inclusion levels. But any further inclusions more than that resulted into low performance of the feed. Now the main issue is now to mainstream and come up with a species-specific research that can be done on the insect meal to find the inclusion levels, because each and every fish or livestock has different inclusion levels in as far as protein is concerned. So the challenge is to study each species, each livestock or fish, to see what are the inclusion levels of that specific insect in their particular feed for better performance. This is the product now of the insect processing that generally we can take to come up with the insect meal, and of course include that in our livestock feed. Of course, this is different, or it differs from insect to insect. Some insects may have different stages that are not here, depending on the art. But generally, this will involve harvesting the insects, which will include sieving the insects from the substrates on which they were raised. After that, you may need to clean them using water. Of course, at a specific temperature. But where that is not possible, cleaning the water, the insects 2 to 3 times would be adequate. And at the same time, we should understand that the most important thing is to raise these insects on an uncontaminated substrate. Because if the substrate is contaminated, then the insects that we're going to come up with after raising them will also be contaminated. No matter how much you wash them, they will still be contaminated. So after that, you need to cook them to increase the availability of the insects to the livestock. Livestock can also choose not to eat the feed because it doesn't taste good. So we need to increase the availability of the feed itself by cooking it. After that, we need to dry it. We need to remove excess fat. There are some insects that are too fatty. And if you feed that to the chickens, they will not take a lot of feed they will not take a lot of feed because it's too fatty. So you need to reduce them to increase the amount of full feed intake. Then after that, you can mill it and you are ready to include that in your feed. Now, what are the areas of consideration? Although this is the case, but there are serious areas of consideration. For example, I wouldn't expect someone to be raising fowls at the backyard to say, I would like to feed my insects. Well, we know that these fowls are maize or cereal production is concerned. What are the issues that should be taken into consideration?
You have 5 more minutes.
Okay, I'll go to the 30 points. The first thing that should be taken into consideration is that we need to better understand the environmental impacts of the insect procurement, both at the regional and global scale. These insects are, different countries have specific policies in as far as importation of insects are concerned. So you cannot just import insects on your own. You need to follow global guidelines which are placed in different countries. So every impact that these insects can have, depending on what you are having in a particular country, should be put into consideration. The other one is that we need to investigate factors affecting the safety and quality of the insects. Like I said, you need to raise the abstracts that are not contaminated. There are several other factors that you also need to consider. The third point is that we need to acknowledge the complexity of consumer acceptance. Although I say in my country, insects are part of the diet, but it doesn't mean that everybody can accept the fish that has been fed from house-fried maggots. There are some people that will look at that as something that they should not eat. So you need to put that into consideration by using insects that are already used as food in that particular area. If you find someone who eats grasshoppers and you tell them that we raise this fish by feeding it to grasshoppers, they will probably accept that fish product. So you need to consider the complexity of the consumer acceptance. And lastly, you need also to monitor the social and the economic impacts of growing these insects. Some insects, growing them, the process itself is quite expensive, while some is just very cheap, they can do it at their backyard. So all these things must be put into consideration. Let me go to this slide. What should we now do what are the policy implications that we should put into consideration in as far as Malawi is concerned? I think maybe this might also apply to other countries. The first thing is that the stakeholders, such as the private sector, academia, and of course the government, among others, should collaborate in exploring use of insects as fish feed, of course, and also livestock feed. There should be a strong collaboration between policymakers, researchers, to generate clear and comprehensive legal frameworks and safety guidelines for flourishing of insect biomass production and utilization of industries. And the other thing is that Malawi should come up with incentives for private sector to engage in insect biomass production while encouraging quality public-private sector partnership of the sector. And lastly, we should come up with all the technologies that involve insects that are already that are indigenous to specific countries. We don't want to introduce new insects to a particular country. These are the recommendations. The first one is to study the economic production and processes regarding and the regulation regarding the insect production and products. And of course, the insects should be captured in pathogen-free environment or uncontaminated substrates. And there is also a need for stakeholders to collaborate closely to make use of the sheep protein in insects. And there is also a challenge to solve food safety issues and legislation to come out so that we can be able to come up with the thorough and proper coordination and collaboration of governments, departments, and of course industry and academia. Now, reaching this far, I would like you to watch a 1 to 1.5 minutes video that will summarize everything that I've said.
They may not be on the everyday menu just yet, but in Uganda, maggots are increasingly part of the food chain. At this farm near the capital Kampala, larvae are being grown to feed livestock, and it's fair to say the results offer some food for thought.
Our target weight for the fish is 1 kilo in 6 months. But surprisingly, when we feed the maggots and the earthworms to the fish, in 4 months we have 1 kilo. So we've reduced our cost of production in terms of money and even in terms of time.
It's the same thing with chickens. When the birds eat insects, their growth rate increases by 50%. It costs farmers here about $100 to start breeding the maggots, but the result is a 75% saving on animal feed. Another benefit is space. Joan Nakiyemba has been training farmers to breed insects for 5 years. All she needs is a small compost bed where soldier flies can lay their eggs.
They have to lay somewhere. They are sure that the moment my young ones come out, it will have food to feed on. So that's the reason why I put these cardboards in rotting matter to entice this fly to come and lay eggs.
Livestock production accounts for 70% of all agricultural land, and it's seen by the UN as a leading cause of environmental problems. With human consumption of meat tipped to soar, it's hoped initiatives like this will provide some wriggle room.
This is from Reuters, and it took it in Uganda. So this is not Malawi, but it is something that is happening in Uganda. I wanted the voice to be on because what she's saying is it is what I would like to begin. Okay, she was saying with fish, they would raise 1 kg in 6 months. They would aim at raising 1 kg of fish in 6 months. But with insects, they are able to raise the same kg but in only 3 months. This lady is trying to attract these insects. They are already found in their countries, but she's trying to attract those insects to those trays that she is coming up with, so that they lay their eggs in there and she harvests the maggots to feed their eggs. And the household can do this in their backyard, replacing the expensive fish or livestock feed that they are buying on the market. With that, we can have a number of people that are coming into livestock livestock production than the ones, the lower numbers that we are having at the moment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Your name is it? Next Sport or Next Sport, okay. Thank you very much. The video was beautiful, so we allow you to go beyond your time. Okay. So we shall take the last presentation now. And this presentation is titled Introducing and Characterizing of Drought-Tolerant Leafy Vegetables. Chaya. We shall know what is chaya. To enhance food and nutrition security. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Daniel Alemu Godena. Let's welcome him. Big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Daniel, I'm going to present this title, characterization and introduction of chaya plant to the food system of Ethiopia. As you know, most of sub-Saharan African countries are facing with food and nutrition insecurity. Food insecurity is a lack of access to sufficient amount of safe and nutritious food. It may cause by unavailability, unaffordability, insufficient purchasing power, inappropriate distribution, and like that may cause this food and nutrition insecurity. As the report found 2050, most people who are living in the rural area are the most exposed to this problem. As a result of this, most women, since they are responsible for providing food, they are facing this problem. This is a report that is reported by Sadaka 2016. Undernutrition is a cause for 50% of infant and child deaths because of less awareness on hidden hunger. They didn't know much about diversified diet. So generally, factors that may cause this food and nutrition security are drought, less introduction of drought restart crops or new plants, less utilization of existing food, feeding habits by itself, and other factors are the driving force for this problem. So the solution should be looked for creating awareness on utilization of existing food source or proper utilization and introduction of drought-tolerant highly nutritious crops like sugar. Then this, as you see, this is a cutting that is used for propagating chaya, this plant. It's by steam. Then we plant it in Grahana house there in the university and put it to the field, to the radar, which is lowland with a short rainfall, and the temperature ranges to 29 to 34. Then we bring there, and the station after this is a picture that shows after 2 and 3 months after planting. This is why we are collecting sample for analysis in the approximate composition and its content. Then we bring it to the laboratory and analysis. As you see, the protein and the carbohydrates makes it special, as well as the calcium content, total phenols makes the plant more nutritious, or it indicates that it is more nutritious. Based on the literatures and our result, this leaf is highly nutritious, containing significant higher amount of nutritional values, and these phenolics which are used for medicinal than spinach. You know, spinach is most known and well-known king of vegetables. So after knowing this information or having this information, we try to develop recipe, Chaya-based recipe, by considering the habit of feeding of the community, the religion and culture of feeding. Then we train the community on these recipes. These are some of recipes that we try to do, introduce to the community. This is a field day that we field day with Csir, which we have around 100 stakeholders. Most of them are farmers and academicians, researchers, and government office holders. So we did in that way. So for preserving this, even if it is cornea, if someone needs to preserve, drying mechanism is the most appropriate mechanism or method to preserve this chaya leaf. Rural mills, as you know, they play a big role on the four essential, the four pillars of food security, availability, accessibility, and utilization as well as stability. And most of African countries preparing food, providing food for their family is on the shoulder of women. So we consider, by considering this, we engage most of activity with the women. This is in short the process all we pass through to bring to the community, including promotion. While this is why we are planning it with this man is Professor Kabel, who is horticulture specialist, and while we are planning it, this one is after 2 months, this is after 3 months, and in the lab, and while we are visiting in the field, this is the recipe that we develop from it. So the benefits of this consumption of this plant may contribute to the meet the human nutritional needs for normal growth, adequate protection against malnutrition illnesses. It may recommend, actually it is highly recommended to consume by cooking. It's not advised to consume and fresh or raw. If properly administered, chaya will present nutritional rich food source that is cheap, affordable, the drought tolerant food source, and generally what is promised in helping communities to tackle the problem of malnutrition and food scarcity. Finally, chaya and other underutilized crops have the potential to contribute food and energy security, health, and income generation and environmental service. In short, the current status that we are, and agree with this guy, the man on the ladder has a lot of resource or capital, but he didn't know how to utilize it. So we are just like this man. Therefore, by different factors, the religious factor of eating habit, we are not considering what we do have, like that of amaranthus. We do have amaranthus, but we didn't eat them. Like insects should be consumed. So people should not die.
Thank you very much, Daniel. That's a very nice note to end the end with. Yes. So let's call the presenters to come forward here. Please, can you bring that chair? The presenters, four of you, please come here quickly. And then we are going into the discussion phase, the question time. We've had four very interesting presentations, and we know the profile of the presentations already. Starting from Nina giving us cassava processing, And even though she lost most of the materials, we saw how interesting everything was. And some of the innovations she introduced in terms of cutting down the shelf life of the cassava manifold, the cassava couscous from 1 week to 1 year. Marvelous. We also have Lexford telling us about the potential of the insects. And I believe the message was given home very well. And then we have also the first presentation was made by Samina, and that one was on the South African experience in terms of innovation and development of technologies for rolling out. And then the last presentation was on the beautiful, call it what, leafy vegetable chaya crop, and we have seen its benefits potentially. Now, if you look at the abstract book, at the beginning, page 2, II, there are several paragraphs there. I'm counting the paragraphs 1, 2, 3. The third paragraph, page 2. It says that over the years, women in resource-constrained rural environments have developed local food processing and preservation technologies that minimizes the use of water and energy, etc., and maximizes the use of raw material. You come to the last but one paragraph, it talks about the second line. We want to focus and identify innovative climate smart technologies. And then when we come to the last paragraph, it is talking about this regional workshop is also to support the preparation of a global report. The issues through a bottom-up approach based on the conduct of the regional, workshops. So really, what we are doing is very important. We are sharing valuable scientific information, new approaches and innovations, but we also want to capture them for the global initiative and for rolling out generally. So those who are rapporteurs, please make sure you put things in context so that what we are doing today will benefit many more even after this workshop. Now I open the floor for questions and comments. Spend too much time. We'll allow about 4 questions. We'll love it if it will be a question to a presenter. So now let's see how it goes. We'll manage it. Yes, please go ahead. Do we have a microphone that goes?
Our question is to Samina or Samina. Right. The Amal bread. Is it prepared for the Amal or just you only use the seed to improve the quality? And if you just use the seed to improve the nutritional quality, why do you attribute all the nutritional analysis to our not the base product? Not some to the base product.
I just get that the last part.
If the analysis was just to add to improve the nutritional quality of the bread, and if this is the analysis of the nutritional composition, what percentage of that is attributed to the seed?
Thank you. We'll take the questions and then we'll give the answers. So any question, we would love it if your question goes to another presenter. All right. I don't worry if it's the same one.
All right, thank you. Ms. Paul, the presentation was very interesting. I realized that you talked about the social, the cultural, and the economic implications of insects and how they are, really helping people. But you never talked about the ecological aspect. Considering that insects are key elements of the ecosystem and from biodiversity preservation. And one of the biggest problems with pollinators dying, the loss of pollinators, and the insect obviously can be important pollinators for our food. But I never really talked anything around how your work is also going to probably potentially help to increase insects resistance within the landscape. So if you can talk about that.
Thank you very much for the nice presentations. Yeah, my comment and question goes to all the presenters. I'm interested in understanding if you guys have any behavior change communication strategy, especially with regard to promoting nutrition for children, women in your presence. Any nutrition behavior change communication strategies in your projects? Because we are talking about nutrition sensitive technologies.
Yeah, your question is very clear. That's okay. Good, thank you. Yes, we will take okay, only the 2 hands up and then we'll take the answers. Yes, please, go ahead.
Bonsoir et bonne présentation pour tout le monde. Ma question va à l'endroit de Madame Nina pour le processus de transformation de manioc en Attiéké. Mais je veux me situer un peu plus en amont pour demander si votre entreprise reçoit une grande quantité de racines. Comment allez-vous faire pour les conserver compte tenu de la vitesse de pourriture de manioc?
Okay, if your company has a big order and you have a lot of cassava that you have planted and harvest, how are you going to preserve them so that it will not get spoiled?
Thank you, merci beaucoup. Okay, so the last question.
Thank you very much for the brilliant presentation. My question will go to my friend Daniel. Yeah, I was just wondering if the Chaya vegetable is not, I don't know if it's a perennial crop, and it's not a tree, and the leaves are what we eat, so it might be we'll scale down to talk about it as a greenhouse absorber greenhouse gas absorber. Because we'll pick up all the leaves, and this plant will happily really accumulate a lot of carbon, they say, to fight climate change. I will look at it more from the nutritional perspective than to look at it as a species that will help in fighting climate change. That will be my suggestion to you. Just consider it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So we'll take the answers, responses. We start from Salina. Okay.
Doctor, I hope I've captured your question correctly. Just to answer, some of the essential nutritional components in the seeds, which is what we are using to produce the bread, includes the vitamin, different vitamins that I've alluded to, the iron, the zinc, which are essential components. Because, like my friend Daniel spoke, in many cases we speak about hidden hunger. You can eat as much as you want. But if you are eating foods that are not containing essential nutritional components, you are as good as you've not eaten anything. So the bread is produced from the seeds, not the leaves. There are other products that are coming from the leaves.
Okay, so I think the answer is clear. Yeah. That even though the analysis was done for the whole plant, the seeds have some value in terms of nutrients, and the bread is made from the seeds. So after
no, there's no flour. No, there's no flour. That is intellectual property because I'm not able to tell you all other ingredients that are there. Yes, no, there's no flour.
Okay, so I believe the answer is clear now.
Because the seeds we roast it and grind it into powder. That's why as part of the flow chart I indicated that we do the roasting and we later ground the seeds. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you very much, Amina. It's clear, we understand also the commercialization issues. Yes. So next question, yes, please go ahead.
Okay. That is Daniel. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I was asked about the problem of challenge that faced on during the promotion. Actually, there is a challenge that we can do to promote these things, not by bringing as it is new, by adapting with their feeding habits and the culture, religion, they can easily accept if we consider that one. The last one was, which read by a professor, is actually a suggestion or comment, but it is perennial. The plant is evergreen. Yeah, perennial. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Nina.
Bon, merci pour la question.
Thank you for the question.
Pour éviter les dettes,
For us not to be having
nous transformons ça aussi en farine que je vous ai présenté tout à l'heure.
we use the cassava into many products that derive from it, like flour, for us to keep it.
Et à partir de cette farine-là, on peut aussi obtenir la ticket.
From that flour, we can bring it back into actually if we have a lot of
But the question was that if you are using this innovation, this technology of making a chicken, and in a farming season, you have the harvest of cassava, can you process it? That's the question.
Il faut dire qu'on travaille aussi avec des coopératives. Nous travaillons avec des coopératives et quand c'est en grande quantité, on appelle ces femmes un renfort. C'est-à-dire que nous avons trouvé des solutions pour éviter les pertes.
We have found some solutions at our level for us not to be having a lot of losses.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think that answer is very clear. So when the industry, expands, and this is cooperative approach, so this will also be another poverty alleviation strategy. Merci beaucoup. That's good. Okay, so we'll take the last.
Yeah, thank you for your question, bro. The issue of ecological impact. We tried as much as possible to make sure that there is no interaction between the insects that are being raised and also labor and those that are in the wild. Of course, I understand in different countries there are several policies that are in place to protect the important insects that you have talked about. Of course, in several conflicts between policies. For example, in my country, there is a Ministry of Health that advocates for use of DDT to deal with mosquitoes. And there is also Ministry of Agriculture that is advocating for ban. But whatever the case, there are policies that are in place to protect the insects. But in this case, we would not want to have interaction between the insects that are being raised and household labor and the insects that are in the wild. For obvious reasons that we do not want to have an outbreak of these insects when they are released into the wild. So proper measures must be taken into consideration so that the insects that these farmers are raising should not go into the wild and cause harm.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ford. This has been a very interesting session. So